Greetings, folks. Welcome to another one of our free Friday community classes right here on the YouTubes. I put these classes up every single Friday, so if you want to engage and support my work, hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon thing. You'll get a ding every time a new class goes up. And sometimes I post things extra, so you don't want to miss them. This week, we're talking about why not capsules. So I want to preface this by saying, look, the hardest part of clinical herbal work, and probably all clinical work, is patient compliance, right? Getting people to take their herbs consistently. So if capsules are what's going to make you take your herbs consistently, then take capsules. I'm actually going to end today's chat with some pros, some positives about capsules. So it's not all bad. This is more of why I don't work with them. I don't recommend them to clients. I don't carry them. Occasionally I'll make them for people. I do have an encapsulating machine, and there's reasons why I might do that, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but they just don't make up a part of my practice. And the clinic where I practice is mixed. We have folks that are practicing traditional Chinese medicine, which is very capsule and press tablet and tea pill heavy, and then me to do everything else. So people ask, why don't you do capsules? Why is everything a liquid extract, a tea or a tincture? Here's why. So first and foremost, the herbs, are complex. They are sometimes big, sometimes there's a lot of energy, a lot of wisdom, a lot of ask coming through when we bring herbs into our bodies. And so the upper sensory organs are very, very important, in my opinion, in the process of getting the herbs into the body. So one way to think about this is if you take a tea or a tincture or maybe you've cooked with a medicinal herb, you get to smell that, right? There's a scent that's going to happen, and then that's going to wash over your tongue, giving you taste. And so before that remedy gets inside of your body, like gets into the part of your body that your body spends a massive amount of resources protecting, right? You've gotten like a little handshake. You've gotten a little first date, right? The smell, the taste, all of that informs your body about what's about to happen, and it tells your body something about the herb or herbs or formula that is about to dump into the center of your body. So we have that when we come into direct contact with the herbal materia. Now, with a capsule, they're coated, right? They're in cellulose or gelatin or some other kind of material, and the herbs have been powdered, so they're in there, and it doesn't smell like anything to me at all. And if I put this in my mouth, it doesn't taste like anything either. So what's going to happen is I'm going to swallow this pill, no scent, no taste. It's going to go into my stomach. It's going to hit that bath of hydrochloric acid, and the stomach's going to do its thing. And that material that the powdered herb is packed in is either going to dissolve and melt, or it's going to break open, or whatever the case is. And all of a sudden, inside of my body, there's going to be all this herbal material. Again, that can be very strong, very potent, very rich with different materials that my body might not be used to. It's kind of a Trojan horse, right? Like we sneak everything past this upper sensory complex, which is tied into our immune system, it's tied into our innate defense system, and we just send it into the middle of the city and blow it. There it is. So what I think can happen in these cases is that the body will overreact. The body will suddenly have all of this material in its core, at the hearth, right? The central fire of the city that is your body. Suddenly there's all of this material that just gets unleashed. And The reaction in my experience is that the body is not like, oh, great, let's soak all that up. Rather, the reaction is one where the body almost pushes back and isolates and tries to get that material through the digestive system as quickly as possible, meaning that it's minimizing the amount of digestive time, the amount of contact with surface area in the digestive system, and the body's energetic defenses kind of go up. It doesn't let the medicine in as deeply as we want the medicine to be let in. And, on a purely financial level, you might just be peeing most of it out. So I like not working with capsules for that one reason alone, right? I have others, but I like that we acknowledge that system. We acknowledge that process, and we're aware that when we onboard anything into the body, that the reason why the mouth and the nose are right here together is there's a reason for that, right? That anything that's about to come to our mouth that we're going to bring into our body, whether it's breath through an inhalation or food or herbal remedy, the body wants a minute to figure that out before it drops into the center. So there's that. Another aspect is the connection between the tongue and the heart. That for folks who have done medicine following work with me before over on the Patreon, you know that we spend time letting the tincture or the tea sort of roll around on the tongue before we swallow it. And when we swallow it, we understand that it's going into our stomach, but we also are aware that the energy or the presence of that plant moves more into our heart center. We kind of swallow it into the heart, right? And having that tongue contact is crucial. Like, it's very, very important for that. And even in Chinese medicine, the tongue and the heart are related. So when you see your acupuncturist or your herbalist, sometimes they'll say, stick your tongue out and let me see. And they're looking for patterns on the tongue that relate to the digestion and your liver and your kidneys and your adrenals and all that. But there's also a really big key area on the tongue right at the tip that references or acts as kind of a reference point to the heart, right? So when we taste and smell the herbal materia that we bring into our bodies, there's an engagement with the heart center, which in herbal medicine, the heart center is always the primary organ of perception above and beyond any others, right? Everything else comes second. What you think about the herbs is secondary to what you feel about the herbs. So there's another angle. Another one, and this is a big one for me because I am a habitually low-dosing herbalist in my practice, right? I don't generally give people big, heroic, or sometimes even standard therapeutic doses of herbs. I just don't think they're necessary generally. I would say 80% of the people I work with are getting what would be considered a subtherapeutic dose, and it's still just as effective. So with capsules, especially tablets, but as capsules too, because it's a pain, this is the dose. I don't have any control over this. If I tell you to take, I'm going to introduce a new formula to you and say, hey, let's have you start out with a third of the therapeutic dose for a few days and then work up to a half and then to 3/4 and then do a full dose so that we can kind of ease it into your body and into your life because things are going to change. You don't have that ability here at all. You have to take what's in the capsule that somebody else decided this is the amount of herbs for your body, even though they don't know you. So capsules make it very hard, not impossible, because I could break this open and, but it's a pain. And people are not going to do that at home generally. It makes it really hard for me to dose the herbal medicine in a way that speaks to you as a person and what your body needs. Maybe you don't need a lot. Maybe you just need a little nudge. Maybe I'm working with somebody who's elderly, or they're recovering from a long-term illness, or they're infirm, or there's digestive issues. And putting this amount of herbs into their body is just it's actually going to be taxing. It's actually going to be asking too much from their body. It's not really a lot I can do about it. So kind of, same with allopathic medicine, we have this idea that everybody who takes medicine is like in this same, little bit of the pie chart. They're all the same person, and that just isn't the case. One thing I will say about tea pills in Chinese medicine is that tea pills can sort of be regulated because we're generally taking 8 to 10 of them, so it allows us to take just 2, right, or 5, and that has sort of been TCM's answer to this problem. So the last thing that I want to mention about why I don't work with capsules very often is the digestive engagement, right? That if somebody's digestive system or process is not great, how is that going to get into the body, right? This is going to go into the stomach. The stomach's going to see it as food. It's going to have to go through the entire digestive process. It's going to have to get broken down and turned into chyme and dumped into the small intestine and all that stuff. If the person's digestive system is bad, or they're having problems there, or it's sluggish, or they're not having good uptake, this isn't going to go where it needs to go, right? So these other formats of medicine that I prefer, tea and tinctures, don't require digestion. They will actually start passing into the body through the mucosal tissue of the mouth and then passing through the walls of the stomach. There are 2 substances that the body readily allows through upper digestive mucosal lining, and that is water and alcohol. So this is why I like tea and tinctures. Tea first, tinctures second. Capsules are somewhere further down that list. So just some things to consider. Let me tell you though, there are no clean lines in nature, no tidy boxes, and we always have to be adaptable. And my job as a clinical herbalist is to serve my clients and to meet them where they are and to try to make this work as accessible and enjoyable and effective as possible. And so sometimes the right answer is capsules. That's the right answer. So there's a few pros to capsules. Again, if possible, if I can find a Chinese patent formula that is as close to what I want to give that person to the formula that I wrote for them in tea pill form, I'm probably going to do that. Or if I have the ability to make them tea pills and they can circle back around and pick up, that's great. If I'm making capsules in the clinic, I can dose the capsule a little more uniquely for each person. I can fill the capsule halfway or have more of one herb than another when I'm able to custom compound like that. But, broad spectrum, if you're just going to the store, buying ashwagandha capsules, you're going to get what you get, right? So a few pros. First is that some people really are sensitive to the taste of herbs. Some of the tastes or the scent of particular herbs may make the person feel nauseated, or they just don't like it, and sometimes there's something to that and we have to sit with it. But again, if it's going to prevent compliance, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to try to make the medicine in a way that will taste good. I'm not afraid to throw lemon verbena, peppermint, lemon balm, spearmint on top of a tea formula, so that when the person's drinking the tea, they get mint and they don't get what else is not. I'm totally fine with that. Make it, if the body's relaxed, the medicine can go in more. If the body's tense because the tea tastes horrible, we're kind of blocking what can drop in. Some people don't want to do tinctures because of the alcohol, and I do not personally like to make glycerites. It's messy. They go bad. It's like a whole thing. They gum up the droppers. I'm not a big fan. With kids, sometimes with animals, I will have people get a glycerite from a maker, from somebody that's in like a factory, maker. But I don't like to make them. I don't make them. I don't even teach them anymore. They drive me crazy. So if people won't do alcohol or can't do alcohol, they have a sensitivity, there's recovery, capsules can be a really fantastic and effective option. The other thing is, if we need to, for whatever reason, and this is again rare for me, from my style of herbalism, if we need to give somebody a high dose of herbs, and I guarantee if I do that, it's very short term, it's 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Sometimes capsules they just make more sense. So if the person is relatively healthy. We know they have a good digestion, but I have to get a lot of herbal materia into their body for one reason or another. Might just do capsules, make it easy. They're not drinking ounces of tincture or have to have a gallon of herbal tea a day. Again, most of us are too busy to do that, so we're not going to do it. Whereas you can take a fistful of capsules, no problem. Traveling, if you're traveling, sometimes there's issues taking tinctures. Sometimes there's issues traveling with tea and figuring out how to get hot water and how to get a mug. So if somebody's going to travel, sometimes we'll just switch them over to capsules for a while, and the effectiveness of the herbs might drop down a little bit just for all the reasons we talked about, but they'll still be compliant. They'll still be getting that information and energy into their body. That's as great. And the last thing I could say is sometimes we want the digestive system to have to work, to have to engage more with the herbs, to kind of chew on them and break them down. Sometimes there's a reason why we want that to happen. We're trying to coax a process within the digestion and the herbal material to come into contact with each other, right? So we actually want the person to ingest the herbal material, the dried herbal material, so that it moves through and goes into contact with their digestive system. But again, we would need to know that the digestive system is well enough and operative enough that that's actually going to take us anywhere. Otherwise, you're just wasting the person's time and money. It's not going to get there. So the takeaway for me is, on a totally personal level, how I practice as an herbalist in my clinic, most everything that I give is liquid based, whether a tincture or a tea or a tincture, in that order. And that there's a method to the madness of why I don't do capsules, and there's a time and place for everything. And I think even in all my classes, I really never talk about capsules. I don't talk about them in herb school. I don't talk about them in my medicine making workshops ever. So now you know why. But if that's the format of medicine that's going to work for you, if that's what's going to help keep you compliant, if you already take some kind of pill or capsule every day, so stacking on some herbal ones to that is effortless, and you're going to take them 100% of the days, take your damn capsules. That's fine. We ought to meet people where they are, and I would rather somebody take something that's a little less effective consistently than take it 2 or 3 days a week when they remember, and hope for the best, right? So if you have a preferred format of herbal medicine that you like to work with, maybe you really love drinking herbal teas when you don't feel good, or maybe you get a tincture from a local herb shop with your adaptogens that you take every day. Maybe you're a capsule person and you've got a good reason for that. Maybe you do something else. I would love to hear everybody's favorite format of herbal medicine in the comments below, and why, if you want to share. With that, I'll send you out with blessings of peace and plenty. I'll see you next week.